Hello, good morning. Welcome to our Wednesday chat where we discuss the important home care topics. Today, I want to just do a quick check-in with you, get something on your radar if you don't have it already. And that is, what is your agency's backup plan, or I like to call it contingency policy for your clients? So what this means, what this breaks down to, is when you're meeting your client for the first time, writing that plan of care, developing that care plan of care, same thing, right? You've got to be able to convey with the client, with their family, what is going to happen in the event that one of your caregivers, your assigned caregivers, is sick, is on vacation, there's inclement weather and they can't make it. What is the backup plan? And the reason why I bring this up, and this has happened in the past in my company, and so we really got really clear on our contingency policy. What can happen is that when you when you open your client's case, you do their intake, the family just thinks, okay, great, we got home care, we're all set, we don't have to worry about care for mom Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that should be the case. That should be something they can rely upon. But again, in the event something like sickness or bad weather happens and there's no other staff member, we want to have a backup plan. So when you don't have a backup plan in place and you call the family in the 11th hour and say, hey, your caregiver has called out, your mom's caregiver has called out for the day and I have nobody to send, and they get upset, they don't see this coming, they didn't know that this was a possibility, that's when it becomes an issue. So being totally upfront about your contingency policy, your backup plan with them is of utmost importance, because when they get blindsided, they can decide to pull care. They can decide that they're going to give a termination notice if they're a private pay contract, if they're a Medicaid or a VA contracted client. They may just say, I'm calling my care coordinator and I'm done with your agency because I need to have reliable care, right? And of course, that's our number one goal, is to always be consistent, provide reliable care that people can depend on. But again, sometimes we can't control sickness and weather, so we've got to have that backup plan. So when I go out, when I'm writing a plan of care, when I'm talking about contingency with my family, with my client, my families, with my clients, I'm saying, okay, if this should happen, if this should arise that we cannot make it in for a scheduled visit, of course, if your caregiver calls out, we're going to do everything in our power to pull another caregiver in. And there's little caveats to this as well, but we're going to do everything we can to pull a caregiver in. If we cannot, who do we call? Who is on that list? Is it the daughter first and then the son and then the granddaughter? I want to have minimum one person, but ideally 3 people that I can call in order to let them know that we can't make it in the event of one of these situations, and so that your loved one is covered, right? Now, back to those caveats. Your client may be somebody who needs you for some light housekeeping and some meal prep, and they're okay. They're all right. If something happens and you don't make it, it's a blizzard, or you live in Maine and you wake up and there's 4 inches of snow like I did this morning. I'm a little bit over it, to be honest. I'm like, we had bare ground, my daffodils were trying to come out. Like, what just happened? My caregivers are still going to work today, by the way. The roads are pretty well plowed, so they're okay. But if you live in a place where the roads can get terrible, the weather can get crazy, then yeah, those things can happen. Who are we going to call, right? What's the plan? So some of your clients will be where I'm fine, it's okay. Other clients, and this is what you'll need to identify in that intake, cannot go without care, right? Cannot go without care. They require assistance getting out of bed. They need somebody to make their breakfast. They need somebody to check their blood sugar. They need somebody to remind them of their medication. They cannot go without care. And so those clients that cannot go without care, absolutely cannot, they are going to be starred, highlighted in your system. There's going to be backup in place. And one of my rules is that for every client, there has to be, I don't care if they're a 4-hour-a-week client. I don't care if they're a 40-hour-per-week client. There's got to be two of my staff members have to know their plan of care and their routine, so that in the event one of them is out, their main one is out, I can call the other one in, and it's a nice, easy, smooth transition. It's no worries for us or for the client. That's what I like to do. But definitely having that plan in place. So if you do have a high needs client and you still are not able to provide care for whatever reason, something just goes haywire within your company, with your employees, something happens. I mean, I've gone out as an owner, and those clients that cannot go without care, if something's just happened and, my staff member who's scheduled doesn't have a 4-wheel drive vehicle and I do, I've gone out and taken care of my client because I know they can't go without care. And sometimes there is no family, there is no backup. That's really hard, right? And so for those clients that have no contingency, have no backup, we've got to put all of our efforts into making sure that we are always providing the care that they need. Clients who do need the care, that higher level of care, but do have the backup, if needed, we can lean a little bit on the family as a support when we're having either a staffing issue or other issue, right? Where we just can't be there. But ideally, like I said, we're always going to provide the care. That's what we're here for. But in the cases where these little things come up, we definitely want to make sure that our families and our clients we're all on the same page when it comes to a contingency plan, no matter what that is. If it's the family, if it's a friend that gets a phone call to go over and just check on the loved one, because that's all they really need is a daily check-in. If it's us that we're going to figure out a way, like somehow, some way to come out and do the shift or a part of a shift, what does that plan look like? So when the day comes, because it will come, that there's an issue, then nobody's blindsided, right? And it's just super, super, super important to cover this in your intake. We just did an intake recently with a family, and we did it with one of the children, and that's who could be there for the intake. It's the son who actually handles, is the POA but couldn't be there. So anyway, it got a little bit messy as far as the son was completely I didn't know about a contingency plan, and I didn't hear about this. And it's well, it's all in the paperwork, it's all in the contract, but unless they're not there to go through that step by step, it can be missed. So it's bringing it back to the surface, it's educating, it's reminding, but if you're really clear with the people who need to hear it at that intake, then your bases are covered, and just sets you up for success and your company, and leaves nobody feeling stressed in the 11th hour. So I hope this information helps get your wheels spinning about putting that into your care plan. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, support@BethanyRatcliffe.com. All right, have an awesome day. Take care.